the purpose of this show is to try and provide some entertainment to you on this Sunday, because I've just sat and watched 2 Premier League games of football and I've been so bored in my life. So we're going to try and bring you some entertainment in that sense. I hope you are all well. We're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's defeat at the London Stadium. And yeah, thank you very much, Steve, for joining me. I've got a stellar panel of guests joining me to dissect yesterday's game. Firstly, Nigel, how are you?
I'm good, Jake. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. H, how are you?
Yeah, all good. Thank you, mate. Are you good?
Yeah, all good, all good. And Gary as well. Gary, you got the memo with the shirt today.
I did, mate. I did.
Completely.
Not too bad. I sit next to my Man City supporting brother yesterday. Apart from that, it's not too bad.
There we go. Right, Nigel, I'll start with you. I mean, I said yesterday coming out, I felt a little bit hard done by with the result, but there's no shame in losing to that team. And on another day, they could have scored about 6. And I mean, we had a fair few chances in there as well, I thought.
Yeah, they're a brilliant team. I think Zuma kept Haaland quite a majority of the game, but they was always going to score. Seeing my funny little story, I thought after the first half, I was like buzzing. So I went downstairs, quickly nipped to the loo, end up chatting to a few pals. Come back up on 47 minutes, thinking we're still 1-0 up, not looking at the scoreboard, right? And then Silva scores. It was Bernardo Silva scores, didn't he? And I went, I knew they'd equalise. And then the owner says to me, "Oh, they scored when you was down in the toilet." So it was already 1-1. So I thought that goal was the equaliser. So yeah.
I tell you what, I think that must have happened to a fair few people, because that's the most empty I have ever seen that stand straight after half time. I mean, the heat probably had something to do with it, and people probably went.
Normally, everyone flushes down about on 40 minutes because we was winning. I think everyone was just like they stayed, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe that. So for 60 odd minutes, I thought we were still 1-0.
Yeah. I think it was difficult, H, because you've got, we had some great chances. Emerson had a good chance, Antonio had a good chance, and a couple of other ones as well. And in a couple of 10-minute stages of the game, I was like, I tell you what, we ain't doing too bad here. And we led a half of football, beating, the champions of this league. So I think we've got to take positives out of it.
Yeah, 100%. I think like the team is too disappointed with that loss. It's disappointing to see how we did. Football, and as you said, on another day it could have been a lot. I think I said Zuma was unreal. So there were many positives there that stopped it from being worse than it was. We had a bit of fortune on our side as well, with like Haaland missing that absolute sitter. But yeah, we had our chances as well. Antonio takes a little bit of a better touch there. We're back in. An unbelievable save kept us out of equalising as well. So yeah, I think there's enough there to say it could have been different on a different day, but that's football for you, right? It doesn't always go.
No, exactly. Gary, I was directly in line with that Haaland miss, and I was completely astounded that didn't go into there. And I mean, even was it 6 minutes in, I counted Areola or clearances off the line, and Areola saves. There was about 5 in about 30 seconds. I turned around and went, "This is going to be a long afternoon." But we managed to persevere with it, and I mean, to be leading at half time, I thought was excellent.
Yeah, when that ball didn't go in, Jake, after 6 minutes, I thought it's definitely going to be our day, because just go bouncing back in and out. And I thought it was a good goal, beautiful finish by Ward-Prowse. But as we've all said, they're a good side. You can't knock. You can't. It's very difficult. I don't know how many times they didn't score last season, but they're always going to score. At some point, they're going to score. They've got so much talent all through the team. I thought the new lad for them, the number 11, what's he called? Doku, is it? He gave Soufal a torrid afternoon, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think it was a game of small margins, as Moyes said. If we had just kept it tight for a little while in the second half, they'd have got more desperate, I think, and we could have picked them up on the break. But they scored straight away, and it's a different game again. Poor defending, I thought, for the second goal, unfortunately. Very poor defending. And then that was it. Haaland got his goal at the end. But, nothing to be too ashamed of. I'm quite happy.
No, definitely not. And I think what we've got there is we scored a fantastic move, a great move to get it out of the pitch, a brilliant ball in from Soufal, and most players probably would have tried to volley that and sprayed it halfway back to Stratford station, but he managed to get his head down to it, Ward-Prowse, and it was a really, really smart finish. And I think, you know, we were all buzzing going into half time, and it was just killed. I mean, you missed it, Nigel, but it just felt like the confidence and momentum we had was just killed as soon as they scored straight back after half time. It felt like a proper West Ham thing to do, concede 30 seconds after the resumption of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, Doku, we was actually looking at signing him. If you remember when we played Rennes, he like tore us a new one when he played against us for Rennes. And when we saw it was on about signing him, I was thinking he's a good player. So when I see City sign him and he's going to be running at Soufal, I knew it was going to be a long day because I think he's going to be one of the signings of the season. I thought he was their best player.
I did as well, yeah.
Next level, shifted the ball out of his feet. So he's a bit like that Saint-Maximin, but he's quicker. He shifts the ball really quickly, and he just throws people off balance. I think he's gonna do really, really well for them.
Yeah. Oh no, I think not many players in the past have got Soufal's number all day, but I think we've got to say, you know, Soufal has dealt with Mitoma's, you know, even a couple of weeks ago he had Mitoma's number, but Doku just seemed every time, and he wasn't getting much support from Bowen at times, especially for that goal it alluded where he was pretty much stuck on his own, and Doku just fired straight past him. I thought he was the best player on the pitch.
Country mile, he was absolutely outstanding. Credit where it's due. We all know I'm a big Soufal fan. I'll always sing his praises. Is that defender who just gets the job done. You know, he knows his role. He sticks to his man. But when you're a player, like, that's a tough day. I think, like, could we have maybe had a bit of a change sooner? Because I think probably I'd say the last 25, half an hour, Soufal did, like, he was knackered, and you could see that in him. But I'm not sure how much difference that would have made. But I think doubling up a little bit earlier, maybe. But decisions-wise yesterday, to me, most of them were right. Well, if not all of them. It was sad to see Antonio go off. But I think to have changed everything around too much to deal with one player, is that a gamble that you want to take just to keep one player quiet? I don't know. But yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. And you know, that's why you can't be too disappointed with that result when you're playing against players like that. You can expect, you know, it's going to be a tough day for us.
Yeah, Gary, I seem to sort of recollect we did a similar thing against Villa with Grealish a couple of years ago, you know, when we were all stuck at home. I think, was it Fredericks was put on the right wing or something, and we had Soufal there, and we completely shut down Grealish when it, you know, in his Villa days. I felt like that's something probably Moyes, obviously not Fredericks, he's not there, but you know, put on another body over in that side that was going to be more defensive minded in order just to try and stop, because if there was a goal coming, there was no doubt it was coming from Doku.
Yeah, I agree, but it's very difficult against City, because if you double up, you create space for Alvarez or Silva or Haaland, so it's incredibly difficult. I mean, they are. I mean, unfortunately for the Premier League, they're going to win the league again this year, which is not good 4 times in a row, but you know, I can't see them get anywhere near them. You know, you look at, I mean, I was first time seeing Rodri play live, and he's huge. He's absolutely massive. I remember how big he was. He's a massive unit. I thought another thing I touched on, I thought the substitution of Alvarez made a big difference for us as well. I thought that left a hole a bit in the middle of the park, unfortunately. I don't know if he's injured or was just preventing a red card.
It was just because he came back from Mexico 2 days ago, and he was just, you know, flagging a bit. So they took him off in that sense, but that completely, you know, we fell apart from then, I thought.
I think so. That's a big gap in midfield. Yeah. And Tom, bless him, is struggling a little bit against that sort of level of opposition. Yeah.
No, for sure. Let's take some comments. Three you guys are saying, TJ Legend, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I hope you are well. First half, we were the better side, so Fathead. The injury cost us, and the 2 slips of concentration. I think the goals were soft to concede, especially the first 2. The third one, as soon as I went in, we were all heading for the exits. But I think just for that second one, do you think Agüerd should or could have done better with that, Nigel? And do you think Areola should shift some of the blame?
It just seemed to go in slow. He just seemed to jump in the air, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's like he was in no man's land, and he was like, "Shall I try and edit or shut?" And then it was too late, and then you was like just wishing that Haaland would touch it because he was offside.
Yeah.
I was turning around saying, "Una, did Haaland touch that? Is he offside?" But yeah, I mean, he was completely out of position, but he just didn't expect it, and he just jumped in the air, and it just looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you straight at it, it was nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So, what can you do if your feet are planted? You couldn't really do anything. The ball just knocked over his head. Maybe, someone Ariola should have come. I don't know. It was a shambles, wasn't it? Really, it looked awful.
Yeah, it just looked incredibly soft, and for all the hard work we put in, and to be fair, if there was any team you didn't want to play in that heat yesterday, it probably was Man City. And it just sort of everything played a part, I thought, and we just ended up running out of steam against them in the end, which is no bad thing. And I always thought H, as soon as they scored straight after half time, I thought there was just a sense of inevitability that they would come back and they would go on and win the game, which was a shame because of the work we did put in the first half.
100%. And I said we've done all of the hard bits, like the goal line clearances, the triple save from Ariola, like all of the hard stuff that we do, and then you can see that. But I think as I said, players coming off, it changes the game. I think when they've come that early, I can't remember what last season, it was new. A similar thing happened where we sort of got back into it and then conceded really early in the second half, and it's sort of like it rattles us a little bit, and we seem to just go a little bit quiet from there, and then the few chances crop up again. But I just think, like you said, it's one of those things. We put that work in, but you're playing against City, and goals are coming from them. I said even with Haaland missing that sitter and being relatively quiet, I'd argue for a vast majority of the game, I still knew he had goals in him. I think was just waiting for when it would happen. I think we were still like, it's very possible he could go and score a hat-trick still. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but, you expect it.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, brought out before the game yesterday was the legend that is Paolo Di Canio. I thought that sort of got the crowd up, and I thought it was going to be about 20 minutes, half an hour before, but they actually brought him out at probably the latest possible stage they could, and the majority of people were starting to file in at that point. And he said the night before that he was gonna get some chance going. I thought he was having a joke, but he seriously did. He got the microphone. Chris Skull was like, "Oh, okay." He's just left. He just waltzed onto the pitch and he fired away. I thought it was brilliant, Gary.
Yeah, we were like a rendition of Bubbles from Paolo, so that was good before the game started. So it would have been nice to see him on the pitch yesterday. He made a difference up front. The one thing about Antonio is that touch was just too heavy. It's typical Antonio touch. When he goes through, you just think, oh, if he had that touch, he could have just got a shot away. Like, it made such a difference. So there you go.
For sure. My initial thought with it was, as soon as that Antonio chance had been gone, I turned and went, if that's Bowen, that's a goal.
Yes.
And
I said exactly the same thing, yeah.
It was just so frustrating that he only had that one touch, and it was brilliant work from Paqueta, because I think he nicked the ball off Rodri, which not many people do, and a brilliant ball through to Antonio. And I mean, Paqueta will be pretty peed off with the way Antonio handled it, because it would have been a fantastic assist, Nigel. But it's just those chances, if we're being honest, you need to take against Man City.
Yes.
Well, I think that's where we know Antonio in the centre forward. He's been brilliant the last few games, but that touch, and he just, whenever he has to think about it, if he doesn't have to think about it, he turns into Ronaldinho, the bloke. Something that really wound me up yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was in the last 2 minutes of injury time. I'm saying, I love Benrahma when he's on form, but like the bloke, when you're playing Man City, right, when you get the ball, you try and do something with it, because you won't get it back often for 5 minutes. There was a chance there where he was in the opposing half. It was given to Benrahma, and he just gave it straight back to it. There was not even there wasn't even any pressure on him, and I was like head in hands thinking, what has he done? Do you know what I mean? It's just, against that team, you can't give them the ball. You won't get it back.
Yeah. I think it's a reoccurring issue with Benrahma, which is just so frustrating, because we all want him to do well. He has had a lot of chances, but he just hasn't put the performance in, especially with Kudus coming in, who I thought looked sharp when he came on. Benrahma's chances, Paige, are swiftly diminishing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I rate him. He's a good player. Got an attacking mindset about him, and fair play. He's always nice stuff. He'll run at players. You know, he'll support the break forward. But for me, Ben Rama's downfall is just a complete lack of end product with him. If he could, you know, if delivery of the ball, shot were good, he's an unbelievable player. I always feel like it's that final piece. You know, be quiet. I don't very value at all, but yeah, he's going to need to really, you know, going forward with the new competition in the squad. But I don't think it was bad because he's been good, but it is literally just that final product for me.
Yeah, I think he's got to an extent. He's got a little bit predictable with what he's going to do. He's going to get to it. He's going to turn, and he isn't going to use his opposing foot. That's just completely out of the question. So he's got to get back onto his favoured foot. Yeah, and I think, you know, at Brighton, I thought he was brilliant. I'm like, right, brilliant. We've got a Benrahma back now. It's got confidence, but then it's 2 steps forward and then there's a step back again. And yeah, it's just frustrating. The thing that bemused me a little bit yesterday, which is, well, surprising or unsurprising, was how early Moyes made those substitutions. I get he was probably forward thinking to Thursday, thinking Antonio's going to have to play on Thursday. He's also going to have to play against Liverpool on Sunday, with the lack of creative options that we have to lead the line. I get that to an extent, but Antonio didn't look like he was puffing. Antonio didn't look like he was struggling, and I think it just eliminated that end product that, yes, sometimes isn't there with Antonio, but it's the stature, it's just the sort of, you know, physical threat that he can bring by just being there himself. And I thought those substitutions were a little bit early for me, Gary.
I'm not sure. I mean, I agree with Alvarez coming off it if he was tired at that time. So maybe that's not. But Antonio, you haven't got anyone like him in the team, unfortunately. He's very much a one-off. Going back to Benrahma, I think personally, I don't see why Fornals has come on ahead of him, and I don't know what Cornet's got to do to get a game either, because he wasn't even on the bench yesterday. So I think he's battering Benrahma, as you said, Jake earlier. He's so predictable nowadays, and I don't think he'd ever do anything against Man City apart from score a penalty. You just know he's not going to make a difference in the game. In my opinion, when he came on, I thought he's not going to do anything. Unfortunately, I was right.
The only legitimate conclusion I can come to why Cornet is not playing is he must be crap in training. We must be able to do a better job together than what Cornet is doing in training. Because I mean, where is he? Why? It baffles me. Right, we're going to take some comments and then go on to some final thoughts. Fahad says City are the best side in the world. Was talking at half time, and we were saying as soon as we scored, it was like when you annoy a wasp. Yeah, and
sure.
And you can imagine Pep probably went at them at half time, you know, really hard, and they came out and they responded instantly, which is exactly you know, what Pep would have wanted, and exactly the probably worst nightmare that we could have anticipated. Straight back after half time, it just brought us straight all back down to earth, which was frustrating, but it is what it is. Right, quick 5 final thoughts. Nigel, to you first.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the season so far. I'd have preferred it. I reckon we could have got a draw yesterday, but like I say, you know, we can't complain. Look at us in the table. You look at teams like Everton, Burnley and all that. I mean, I don't think we've got anything to worry about this season regarding, you know, we should be now looking for a top 6 finish. We've got enough players in this current squad now. When we're talking about Benrahma and that, I mean, he's not one of our better players now. You look along the squad. The squad's the best squad we've had for a long, long time. I've been down at West Ham a long time, and I haven't seen many better teams than we've got at the moment on paper. So
we've said that repeatedly over the last couple of years. Maybe not last year because how crap it was, but the last year before that, we've continuously said this is one of the best sides that we've got on paper. But it's just about putting that then onto the pitch and executing the plans. And H, I think yesterday we've just got to forget about it. Let's beat this Serbian side in the week, and I think we can go and get a point off Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%. We've got to, you know, refocus and go again because we've got a bit of fixture congestion again now. Back to the norm with Europa League, and then we've got Cup as well against Lincoln after Liverpool. So we're like straight back at it, and then another international break. So I think we've got to really like sort of put everything into these next few games. 3 different sort of competitions. But we've got the depth in the squad to do that now. We've got a good problem on our hands. It'd be good to see Cornet probably in one of those somewhere.
That's optimistic.
Thursday or Wednesday, I don't know.
You'd hope so.
If he doesn't play in either of those, then that we've got he's done. But yeah, I think 3 arguably big games coming up in 3 different competitions. But feeling confident for all of them. I think we were all pretty confident yesterday, and I think after yesterday's performance and the team that we've got on paper, we've got every reason to be going into these games. So yeah, feeling good, feeling positive.
Hopefully. But before we go to Gary, I've got the fixture list here, right? Who sorts this out? So we play Newcastle on the 7th. Then we've got another 2-week international break. Can we have a gap between this? Nobody wants an international break. We've got 2 in 2 months, we got to say. Gary, finish things off.
We've actually got 3 in 3 months, Jake, as well in November as well.
Is there? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's 3 in 3 months. I really don't know why they do that, but
There is. We play Nottingham Forest on the 11th, and then Burnley not to the 25th. Oh my.
I think after the disruption for the World Cup last year as well, like it just proves it doesn't really do any favours to keep starting stuff so often. Like I don't know.
It makes
It's
sense.
Yeah, it's all lots of money. Yeah,
It makes
very
sense.
good point. Very good.
No, I agree.
Gary, finishing off.
We've had a great start of the season, 10 points to 5. And clubs like Manchester United would bite their arms off to have done as well as us. We've beaten Chelsea. If you go to those fixtures and said at the start of the season, can we get 10 points? Brighton away, which has been a bogey ground. Chelsea at home, City at home. We got 10 points. I'll take that any day of the week. So hopefully we've got a few easier fixtures coming up. Sheffield United, let's get 3 points. Liverpool's traditionally 1 win since 1963, so that's going to be a tough place to go. But there's no reason why we can't. They look good going forward, Liverpool, but at the back they don't look the best. So I think we should go at them a little bit more.
Oh, definitely. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you are new. We will be now building up to a game against a team that I am not going to pronounce without looking at it for 10 minutes. So I don't make myself look like a complete and utter prat on YouTube. So you can guarantee what I'm doing the next couple of nights. I am pronouncing this team. I've got no idea who they are, but I will do some research because I've got nothing else to do tomorrow. Yeah, thank you very much, Nigel. Thank you very much, Coach, and Gary.
Cheers, Jake.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Come on, you Lions, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.